An age of just this whole thing, the red states, it's going to be leading the way to making our country richer and safer and stronger than ever before. The red states are going to do good, and the blue states, I don't know, maybe they'll totally disappear off that map. It's like, you know, they don't learn because, you know, like men and women's sports, I say we become the party of common sense. Men and women's sports is not a winner for them, but I saw somebody fighting like hell for the fact that a man should partake in women's sports, a Democrat, a radical left lunatic, and they're still going at it, and we shouldn't really fight them too hard until just about a week or two before the election. Just let them go. Don't convince them not to. You know, I'm always saying they haven't learned. I don't want to say that. Don't say that. Let them keep going, and then about a week before the election, just blast the hell out of them. It's like in a race, you know, you hang in there, and then you just go, because there's no way. Open borders with prisoners coming in, jails, some of the worst murderers in the world. We had one guy killed 5 people, separately killed 5 different people. This is not going to be a great person for our country, but we had 11,088 murderers right now. Some of them have been already brought back. And you know, when you think about it, transgender, everything, everybody should be transgender. These are not things that play very well. I would say they're 7% issues for them, and they're over 90% for us, but they keep going. So don't tell them they're wrong. It's too long, 2 years or 4 years. It's too long. Let them continue to go and say, I think it's a brilliant idea to have open borders, to allow prisons and mental institution people to pour in from all over the world. They came from everywhere. But about a week before that election, go crazy. Just save up your money and explain we can't live like this, and they understand it. Every day of my administration, we'll be fighting to help your state succeed and prosper, and together we're going to bring back the American dream, something nobody talks about anymore. In our last 4 weeks, our new administration has accomplished more than most administrations do in 4 years, and the last administration was a negative. I mean, it was accomplishment, I would say negative 50%. There wasn't any accomplishment. There was a de-accomplishment. On day one, I declared a national emergency on our southern border. I sent our military to the border to secure the sovereign territory of the United States of America. We ended catch and release. We began the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than that of President Dwight D. Eisenhower. You know, he was sort of a moderate guy, but he was very strong on the fact he didn't want people pouring into our country from all over the world. He was very tough. He had the record. We now have the record. It's not a record I'm really proud of. You don't like to do that, but we have no choice. We can't let it. I mean, they let criminals, many, many criminals, hundreds of thousands, probably millions of criminals, 21 million people, I believe, is the number. And of that, millions of people are hard, stone-cold criminals. In the past 4 weeks, illegal border crossings have plummeted by nearly 100%, and the tiny number of illegals that do make it across are being apprehended and sent right back to their home where they belong. All countries are taking the illegal aliens back, every single one, even though they said, and strongly, we're never taking them back, don't even try. They said that during the Biden administration. It didn't work. They're taking them back. They have no choice. They're taking them back. They know we're not playing games. You remember Venezuela saying it? We're not taking them back. Don't even waste your time. They said that to Biden. He said, well, they have us over a barrel. They don't have us over a barrel. How about BRICS? You know, the BRIC states, there are like 6 of them, and they were trying to destroy our dollar. They were going to say, you know, they wanted to create a new currency. They probably wanted to use the yuan. China, they wanted to use the yuan. And Biden said, well, this is a tough situation. There's not much we can do about that. We can't help that. I said, oh, we can help it. So when I came in, the first thing I said is any BRIC state that even mentions the destruction of the dollar will be charged a 150% tariff, and we don't want your goods, we don't want to partake. And the BRIC states just broke up. I don't know what the hell happened to them. We haven't heard from the BRIC states lately. But he said that wasn't much we could do about it. There was a lot. It took once, literally. They said, sir, what about the BRIC states? They're going to take over the dollar, the sanctity of the dollar. They're going to create a new currency to rule the world. I said, no, they're not. They said, yes, they are, sir. They said it. I said, no, they're not. Tell them 150% tariff, plus we're not going to do business with them, and that includes China. And all of a sudden, they went to the BRIC states and they said, could I ask you, how do you feel about that? I have no comment on this. I don't know what you're even talking about. It was an amazing turnaround. No, we're not playing games. Just this week, I officially designated the drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, including Nicaragua and MS-13, which gives us great power. And to facilitate the rapid deportation of the worst criminals that we have anywhere in the world, we've also opened the full capacity of the detention facility at Guantanamo Bay. You know, people don't realize that thing was built, you know, we hear about a few prisoners, and they do have maximum security, but it holds, actually was built for thousands and thousands of people, and we're using that prior to bringing back to their country. We use it for the bad ones, the really bad ones, and so, in some cases, they're so bad we don't want them to go back to the country. We want to watch them because they'll be able, if they do sneak in, we don't want that. We don't want them anywhere near our country. In addition, we're waging war on Joe Biden's inflation disaster, the worst inflation probably in our history. They say 48 years, which isn't bad, but probably in our history. And to bring down the price of energy, I declared a national energy emergency. It's going to be an emergency. And you know what, what we say and what Doug is going to do. Doug, you are so important, you and Chris. You know, Chris is known, and I got this from Doug, as the best energy guy in the entire country. And people were shocked that he wanted to do this. He gave up something tremendous. He was the biggest guy. There was nobody bigger, nobody better. And Chris Wright. Is Chris Wright here? Is he here? Where is he? This guy is, and this is from Doug. I said, Doug, I want to make you the energy czar. And he said, sir, there's one man that blows me away. Right, Doug? He said, his name is Chris Wright. He's much better. I said, I want to see this man. And I met him. And I just agreed immediately that he was far superior to Doug. I'm only kidding. So what I did, we have a weird deal. You know, we have the Department of Energy and the Department of the Interior. And Interior has all of the energy. And Doug has none of the energy, but he's got, Chris has none of the energy, but he got a hell of a good title. But we want the guy with the energy to be able to drill. So we sort of merged them and their friends and everything else. And they've got a thing going on. I think it's going to set records like nobody's ever seen before. So we have the man that controls the energy. We have the man that drills the energy. And now we've put them together. And you're going to see some action. You're going to see something come way down. So thank you. And thank you, Doug. You were really terrific. He was a great governor, by the way. A couple of you may know him slightly. But he was a great governor, did a fantastic job. You know, he made a lot of money in the technology business, sold to Microsoft for a lot of money. I won't tell you how much. I don't want to embarrass him. Some people would say it's a lot. Some people would say it wasn't that much, right? But, you know, when you get close to $1 billion, that's pretty good. And he didn't know much about energy. When he became governor, he became one of the great experts of energy anywhere. We did unbelievable, really an unbelievable job with the state. He did like me. He did well in business, and then he said, let's run for politics. And he did, and they love him in the state. But he was term limited, and I watched him running. He was running against me, but I still liked him. And I said, that guy's got real talent, and he was one of the first people I called. So you're doing a great job, and thank you for leading us to Chris. I'll give you a bigger thank you in 2 years if Chris is as good as you say, okay? But I know he's going to be. Thanks a lot, Chris. Good. Go out there. If we can bring energy down, everything's coming down. You know, the eggs are coming down and the bacon's coming down. Everything is coming down, and that's the biggest thing, the energy. So those two guys are very important. To cut through the red tape, I've established a National Energy Dominance Council, chaired by the former colleague and your former colleague, Secretary Burgum. He's going to do a fantastic job. We're putting incredible people on it. I withdrew from the one-sided and very expensive Paris Climate Accord. It's a one-way street. You know, under that accord, we pay $1 trillion. Think of it. We pay $1 trillion. They pay nothing. China doesn't pay anything. India doesn't pay anything. Russia doesn't pay. We just pay everybody. It's like a health organization, and every deal is no good, but we're changing it. We terminated health, you know, on the World Health. We paid $500 million a year and China paid $39 million a year. I said, that doesn't sound good. They have 1.4 billion people, and we have nobody knows what the hell our number is, because so many people pour into our country. We used to say like 325. I have no idea. We'll figure it out eventually, but let's put it this way. It should be substantially less than 1.4. But we have, let's say we have 325 million, they have 1.4. We're paying 500 million. And these aren't, I mean, relative to government, these aren't huge numbers, but this is an example of what happens when you have bad government, when you have incompetent people. So I would explain this, and they called me and they said, we'll let you in for the same 39 million. I said, well, we should be much less than 39. We should be, but I didn't even want to do that because I'm not going to talk. I said, I'll think about it. And it was very public. And when Biden came in, he agreed to go back into the World Health for $500 million. He could have gotten, I mean, it's a lot of money. You could have gotten it for 39 million, Joe. That's why you're not president any longer, I guess. I could have had it for 39. They were still, it was very public. But he took the 500 million instead, because he never laid in bed at night sweating, tossing and turning like half of these governors. Not all of them probably, but half of them. It's sweating. How are we going to do a great job? He never did that. But that's just a case study in, how not to run. Because, if we had people at that level that would have negotiated. I bought a plane. It's really two planes, Air Force One. Now, if Boeing would build the damn thing, it would be nice too. We don't build like we used to. We don't build too fast. I gave the order out about 6 years ago. They're still waiting. Getting a little tired of it. I gave a fixed price deal, but it was $5.7 billion. I negotiated with Boeing. It took about 2 months, and I got the 5.7 down to $4 billion. Actually, 1 penny less than 4. I said, it has to have a 3 on it. And he said, you want from 5.7 to 3? I said, yeah, 3 on it, meaning it has to start with a 3. And after about 2 months of saying, no, 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 it has to have a 3, has to have a 3, he called up, he said, sir, 3 billion, I want, and this is what happened, 3,999,999,999 and 99 cents, 1 penny less. I said, you have a deal. But we saved $1.7 billion just by negotiating. And in all fairness, most of you can do that, and some of you do it. Some of you do, you have surplus states, you have incredible states, and you have to do that because every time somebody sends you a bill, they expect to be negotiated. And in the past administration, and sometimes I guess in this it happens because people don't care. Elon talks about caring. Caring is very important. And they have to care. If they care, they say, no, I'll pay you. They'll send you a bill for $10,000 and you say, nope, I'll give you 5. And they'll say, no way, no way, no way. And you'll end up paying 6 or 7 or something. But all you have to do is care a little bit and try and get it down. And literally every contract, I think there's not a contract that's sent in government that I couldn't come, and that many of you couldn't cut, and cut very substantially. And boy, what a difference it would make for the government. I terminated the Green New Scam, one of the great scams in the history of our country. I canceled Joe Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto industry from destruction. That was an easy one. And all of this helps to combat inflation and bring down costs. We're bringing down costs way down. We're going to bring up jobs like you haven't seen because the company's pouring in. We're going to have announcements over the next 3-4 weeks that you're not going to believe from some of the biggest companies in the world, and the numbers are staggering. Hundreds of billions of dollars of investment, hundreds and hundreds, trillions of dollars when you add it up, to slash hundreds of billions of dollars in waste and fraud. We're talking about also an abuse. I've created, as you possibly have read just a little bit, the Department of Government Efficiency. And here are just some of the things that we've paid. And we've stopped, and we've gotten the money back. $520 million for a consultant to do ESG, that's environmental, social, and governance investments in Africa. $525 million. $25 million to promote biodiversity conservation and social responsibility behavior in Colombia. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody even knows what the hell it means. $42 million for social and behavioral change in Uganda. $10 million for Mozambique medical male circumcision. We're doing circumcisions in Mozambique to the tune of approximately $12 million. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $486 million to the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening, including $22 million for inclusive and participatory political process in Moldova, and $21 million for voter turnout in India. Why are we caring about India turnout? We got enough problems. We want our own turnout, don't we? Can you imagine all that money going to India? I wonder what they think when they get it. Now, it's a kickback scheme. You know, it's not like they get it and they spend. They kick it back to the people that send it, I would say, in many cases. Many of these cases, anytime you have no idea what we're talking about, that means there's a kickback, because nobody has any idea what's going on there. $29 million to strengthen the political landscape in Bangladesh. Nobody knows what they mean by political landscape. What does that mean? $20 million for fiscal federalism and $19 million for biodiversity in Nepal. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. What the hell do I care about? We got a lot. We got enough problems. And all of this is terminated. We terminated this stuff, and we're on the track. And by the way, so many others I could read all night long, but so many were so terrible, and some were actually disgusting. And I know you're eating your dinner, so I didn't want to do that. But we're draining the swamp. And, you know, one of them was $100 million for condoms for Hamas. You heard about that. 50 and 50. It's 50 million, and then they decided they needed more condoms, so they sent another 50 million. So it's 100 million condoms for Hamas. But now that's the good stuff. Here's even worse. Social Security. As you know, generally speaking, people don't live to be over 100 years old. We all will, I think, 120, 130, hopefully. But, you know, you hate when you get near that number. It's like, let's hope we can live to length like this. But here's what we're finding and what we found. And these were all found by these computer geniuses. I asked Elon, what trait do these have? You know, they started off with 12 guys, then they had 30 guys, then they had 57 guys. Now they have over 100 guys, and he attracts very young people with high IQs, you know. Some people attract very beautiful people. I think I like them better, actually. But he attracts young people that are brilliant, and they love the country, too. But I said, what trait do they really have? And the trait that they really have was that they're extraordinary with computers. They can take them. He said they make love to their computer. I said, I don't want to hear about that. Doesn't sound too good. He said they can take apart the most complex computer instruments and literally put them back blindfolded. So when they go into some guy that's ripping off the country by doing some of the things you've just heard or what you're going to hear, they can't be bullshitted. You know, they can't say, oh, gee, there was a mistake. There was a big mistake. And we're finding hundreds of billions of dollars worth of fraud, waste and abuse, but I think fraud will be the number one as we see. But listen to this on the program. There are 4.7 million Social Security members who go and live from 100 to 109. Well, I'll tell you, I know some people that are close to 100. I know one or two that got over that mark. But you don't have millions. 3.6 million people from age 110 to age 119. 3.47 million people from age 120 to 129. In other words, 120 to 129 years old. Millions of people, millions. 3.9 million people from age 130 to 139, which is pretty amazing because the longest living person ever on record, and they're not sure it was correct, was a woman from a very faraway place, lived to 127 years old. She was a healthy specimen, but she lived to 127. 3.5 million people from age 140 to 149. So we have 140-year-old people, plus millions of them. 1.3 million people live to over 150 years of age, 150 to 159 to be exact. Over 130,000 people over the age of 160 years old, including 1,039 people between the ages of 220 to 229. And we're going to be investigating this fraud. Actually, we had one person who was 361 years old. And what we're doing now is we're finding how many of these people were paid. So we have millions of people, could be well over 100 million people in our Social Security rolls. So the good news is when we take them off, whether they were paid or not, it looks like our Social Security could be really solid. It could be a lot better than we thought, if you think about it. And I'm going to do something. I'm actually going on this one. You know, all my life I've heard about Fort Knox. That's where the gold is kept, right? I heard Fort Knox, oh. But, you know, we're getting a little bit shaky. We're getting the yips on this stuff. Like, I want to find out. So we're going to open up the doors. I'm going to see if we have gold there. We want to find out, did anybody steal the gold in Fort Knox? It's a pretty amazing place. But I'm going to actually go. We're going to open the doors. We're going to inspect Fort Knox. We want to make sure that we actually have, you know, 400 tons of gold or whatever the hell it is. It's a lot of gold. I don't want to open it and the cupboards are bare. Could happen. If you look at some of the things, oh, by the way, wait till we go into the education department. We haven't even done that. So we could find as much as $1.5 trillion worth of waste, fraud, and abuse. If we do that, we can balance budgets. We can do a lot of other things, especially when you couple it with the massive amounts of tariffs that are coming in already. You know, just with what we are charging, I won't mention the country because I don't want to anger people that like me, and I like them very much. But we're finding at least $60 billion a year in one country alone, and I haven't even started. It's just a very small portion that I've, attached to them. So I got a call from Congress. They said, you know, a lot of money is coming in from these tariffs, and they're starting to change their whole thing. So if you can add the tariffs, and this is numbers that, I don't want to say it because then they'll say he didn't produce, but you could wipe out your income tax. You could maybe not even have an income tax system when this thing works out. Because in the old days, that's what happened. You know, our country was the richest ever from 1870 to 1913. That's when we were actually the richest, and we were a full tariff country. McKinley, and I just renamed Mount McKinley. I hope you're happy about that. But McKinley was the president. He was a tariff guy, and he believed that countries should not be allowed to come in and plunder. He had beautiful language on tariffs: plunder our wealth, plunder our jobs, steal our companies, and take our money without paying a very fair price. And he said, and that price should be more than fair. It should be high, because what they do is they hurt our country. And we became very rich. He was assassinated, and as you know, Roosevelt took over, Teddy, and he spent money on parks and on dams and on everything. I mean, but he really spent a lot of the money. McKinley never got the credit, but he spent a lot of the money that McKinley made. But it was the richest we ever were in the 1800s, early 1900s. And then in 1913, we went to the income tax system. And to be honest, we did fine, but we were never like we were. They formed the Tariff Commission of 1887, and it was a commission of people like you, blue bloods. Are you blue bloods? There are a couple of them, about 3 of them over here, but blue bloods. But it was a commission, and it was set up for the sole purpose of, we have so much money. This is in the United States. We had no debt. We had no nothing. We had massive amounts of money. The commission was set up to determine where we should spend our money. Where do we spend it? Got so much. Can you imagine? Wouldn't that be nice? Now look at what they're doing, but this is money we have to borrow where they're doing it. But we're going to find out that this money went to people and it got kicked back. You're going to find out a lot of that, but we'll catch it all. We've launched the largest deregulation campaign in our country's history. For every one new regulation, I've directed that 10 old regulations must be eliminated. And I will say, in my first term, we did more deregulation than any president in history by far, not even close. With Republicans in Congress, we're also racing to pass the largest tax cuts in American history. We're looking to we brought it down from 41%, much higher if you add the state things, but 41% to 21%, which people said was impossible. And now I'm trying to bring it down to 15%, so it'll go from 21 to 15, but only if you make your product in the United States of America. Otherwise, you pay 21%. That'd be great. To protect American auto workers, who, by the way, they're going to be one of the biggest beneficiaries of what we're doing with tariffs, because they just stopped 2 big auto plants in the middle of construction from being built in Mexico, because they see, when I got elected, they said, oh, this is going to be a problem for us because we have big tariffs going on, and we have tariffs going on autos. And they don't have to pay any tariffs. There is no tariff. All you have to do is build your plant in the United States. They were building plants in Mexico right opposite the border. They're making them in Mexico. They're selling them into the United States with virtually no tax. And they're killing Detroit, all these places are being killed. Now it's the exact opposite. And by the way, Canada was a big participant in that too. And I think Canada, they're going to have to pay tariffs on automobiles, lumber, and oil and gas, et cetera, et cetera. And they get 95% of their product from the United States. I think they have to become the 51st state. And you heard the people booing the national anthem, but I think ultimately they'll be praising the national anthem. We'll have to work out some deal with it, because I do like the "O Canada," right? It's a beautiful thing. I think we're going to have to keep it for the 51st state. I call him Governor Trudeau. I said, Governor Trudeau's doing a wonderful job. I think it's actually cost him his election, if you want to know the truth. But we're gonna see about that. We're looking at Greenland, and we have to take back the Panama Canal, because that wasn't the deal. We gave the Panama Canal to Panama. It was the most expensive thing ever built in our country. It would be the equivalent of $2 trillion today. We spend massive amounts. We lost 38,000 lives from the mosquito and snakes. A lot of bad snake bites, but mostly the mosquitoes, malaria. They killed 38,000 of our people. They paid laborers 5 times what they were getting in the United States to go, knowing that there was a good chance they were going to die. 20% of them died. And Jimmy Carter, may he rest in peace, the late, great Jimmy Carter, gave it away for $1. It's also the most profitable thing ever built. It's what you hear about casinos and you hear about all this stuff. They're peanuts compared to this. It's the most profitable thing ever built. There's never been anything. I mean, you have ships lined up. And by the way, when they gave it away like a bunch of dummies for $1. The day after they took over, they raised the price per ship by 4 times. That wasn't high enough. There was no problem. They raised it again twice. And they're getting almost $1 million a ship. And their product is water. It's Pacific and Atlantic where they meet, and one is about 18 feet higher than the other, which a lot of people don't know. Actually, it's one of the great marvels of the world. Well, we built it, and we're not going to let, because China has essentially taken it over. We're not going to let that happen. China knows it, and so does Panama. To protect American workers and bring billions of dollars into our treasury, we're in the process of imposing reciprocal tariffs on any nation that tries to cheat us or steal our jobs. So India, as an example, has very, very high tariffs. And I was going to impose a flat tariff, but that wouldn't really do the trick, because some of the countries have really high tariffs. So it really works out much better. Nobody can even fight it. Whatever they charge us, we charge them. So if they're at 25%, we are 25. If they're at 75, we're at 7. Whatever they charge us. And it was very interesting. The European Union, we were at 2.5% for cars. European Union was much higher. They just reduced their tariffs on cars to 2.5 to be reciprocal with ours. So that's just an early sign. But I think that's going to happen. And then some will want to fight us a little bit, but it doesn't matter. They're reciprocal. And even the press says, oh, I see. Well, they don't fight us. If I put a flat tariff on like 25, 30%, even if it was lower than we would have gotten, if we put a flat tariff on, the press would have gone crazy. That's terrible. Even if somebody was paying like 5 times more, charging us 5 times more. When you say reciprocal, I said it the other day to the failing New York Times. I said, listen, whatever they charge us, we charge them. They go, well, that sounds fair. It really does, doesn't it? So it's a reciprocal tariff, whatever they charge us. I've ended Joe Biden's weaponization of our government and removed his handpicked radical left Marxist prosecutors from the Department of Justice. We have a great Attorney General, Pam. I immediately halted all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. I signed an executive order to end all of the lawless diversity, equity, and inclusion policies across the entire federal government and private sector. Do you see how much it costs? One company said they're going out of that business and they're going to write off $229 million. How do you spend that much money to convince people that they should have transgender operations and various and sundry other things that we don't like to talk about? It's crazy the amount of money it was almost like just a mind blower what they were doing. It was terrible and all over. And by the way, our military is now free of that. Anybody that even tries it, they're gone. I signed really historic orders to get critical race theory and transgender ideology out of the schools and out of our military. It's all going out. It's no longer. And I heard men are still playing in Maine. Is anybody here from Maine? Who is that? Is that the governor? That's, well, I hate to tell you this, but we're not going to give them any federal money. They are still saying we want men to play in women's sports, and I cannot believe that they're doing that. They are, let's find out who that guy is that raised his hand. Maybe he's just kidding. But, so we're not going to give him any federal funding, none whatsoever, until they clean that up. And the other one, we have a fight with one news organization, AP, a radical left organization, treats us all very badly. And they refuse to acknowledge that the Gulf, former of Mexico, is now called the Gulf of America. So we just hold them, we're holding them out of any news conferences. Now I'm sure they'll get sued and maybe they'll win, doesn't matter. It's just something that we feel strongly about. No, and I said we changed Mount McKinley. Nobody's fighting that. You're allowed to do it. Well, we're allowed to do. And most of the shoreline is, 85% of it is on our soil. But I thought it would be appropriate. I never understood quite the Gulf of Mexico when it really covers us far more. And I think Doug is a big believer in what we did, the Gulf of America. So we're having a little dispute, but only one. But Google Maps has already changed. Almost everybody's already changed. It's called the Gulf of America. And earlier this month, I signed an order banning men from women's sports. And that's why when somebody wants to do that, and even the NCAA has already complied, and they have sent us a letter. They have fully complied with that. I also proudly banned the use of puberty blockers, hormone injections, you believe this? And other chemical and surgical mutilations of all minor youth. Do you believe you have to say that? I mean, it's terrible. Who would believe that we're talking about even these things? Men playing in with 10 years ago, 15 years ago, can you imagine? People would say, is he crazy talking about this? And they're still fighting us, but let them fight. As I said, we're going to make universal school choice a very big, strong thing, school choice. And we're working very, very hard to send these schools and education back to the states where they can be properly run. In other words, this really affects the people in this room, but you're going to be running your schools, and who can do worse? Look, they rate them in the top 40. So we just came out with one that we were number 40, but we were number 1 in cost per pupil. And I mean, I know a lot of the governors in this room. You run a great state, and you'll do great with education at a much lower price. We're going to give you whatever you need, but at a much lower price. We have people in Washington, D.C. that, in all fairness, in many cases, don't give a damn about your pupils or your students or your states. And they're running everything, and they're running it into the ground. So it came out, we're last in education, but first in cost per pupil. Norway, Denmark, Sweden, I had to tell you, China, and a few others are always in the top 5. And I really believe that 35 or 36 states, and all of you are here, almost all of you are here representing those states. I think you're going to have education that's every bit as good as Norway and Denmark and Sweden and all of them. And then we'll have some laggards, and you know who the laggards are going to be. You just have to look at everything else. But in everything we do, we're putting America first because the Republican Party is now known as the party of common sense. It's a party of common sense, very important. I think it's a very important phrase for you to use. It's all about common sense. we're conservative and, we're a lot of things. But most important thing is we have to use common sense. Thanks in part to the hard work of the people in this room, we're forging a new political majority that is shattering and replacing Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal coalition, which dominated American politics for nearly 100 years. Under our leadership, the Republican Party has become the proud voice of hardworking citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. We are a much bigger, much more powerful party. Now is the time for us all to press forward, think big, be bold, and deliver the once-in-a-lifetime reforms our citizens need and really deserve. They've gone through hell for 4 years. Some of them don't even know it. They've just been led down a path. They don't even know what they've gone through. As one team, we can make our borders stronger, our communities safer, our schools better, our families happier, our citizens wealthier, and our country freer, 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 and more exceptional than ever before. We will work together and we will absolutely, without question, make America great again. God bless you all and do a great job and go home and watch the hockey game. It should be interesting. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Thank you.
How can you not feel like it's a new day in America when you see something as remarkable as that? Donald Trump, Republican Governors Association, being introduced, by the way, if you missed that part, Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, that they've been at odds for a long time. What this tells me is that Donald Trump is building a coalition. Republicans, it's Democrats, it's independents, it's people that he's been at odds with before, but realize, hey, this is where we're going. Rand Paul today, the senator of Kentucky, endorsed Donald Trump today. We were laughing about this, Ben, earlier because Rand Paul a little late to the party, but he said, look, he's doing more in a month than Ronald Reagan did in 8 years, and we are on the right track.
Yeah, so to me, this is really critical because everything we've seen thus far, a month today, was Trump executive orders. But if we're going to see
70,
if we're yes, and incredible, extremely important, stopping the bleeding on multiple different fronts.
Yes.
But if we're going to see any lasting change, we've got to see that at the state levels. And everything we're seeing that's bad right now, for the most part, is coming from, now it's not coming from a lot of these states. Most of these are Republican governors. But the states across America, we've got to change the focus, go after some of these governors, in particular the Democrat states. So I like refocusing on some of the states, some of the governorships, and focusing our efforts there. And as well, the other side of that is obviously the House passing legislation, signing legislation.
Make it permanent.
Make it permanent. That's right. The only way we fix these things long term.
Absolutely. Make it permanent. Promises made, promises kept. That continues to be the theme here. You mentioned it. I have my eyes on Wisconsin, of course, a very important race coming up there, targeting those low propensity voters, because as we know, gentlemen, the work is not over. In fact, it's just beginning, and we want to build on the momentum we have. I know we're celebrating. This is a very celebratory time, but nonetheless, we need to continue. And to your point, Steve, we were just talking about it earlier, Brian Kemp, coming out, introducing President Trump. He announced his appointments.
I think that's remarkable.
To the Council of Governors. And take a look at this. Governor Kathy Hochul, Governor Josh Shapiro, of course, one of my old friends, Governor Henry McMaster. But look, you have different governors coming together. Donald Trump is building something great for America. It's great to see this in real time. We're all a part of history.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
All right. And stick with us because you guys already know who it is.
I love these guys.
We are headed right to our fave guys over at Live from Studio 6B. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. Live from CPAC there, Ben Berquam. We love you too, Ben. We love Michelle and Steve, all three of them. Welcome on in, live from Studio 6B. What a day it was. CPAC, Real America's Voice there all day. Quite the day at CPAC. Quite the day for President Trump. Black History Month at the White House. Tiger Woods there and gave a speech there. Now, obviously, speaking to the Republican governors tonight, or actually all governors tonight, I think that was. Live from Studio 6B. Welcome on in, everybody. Glad you're here. 27 past the hour. We will take you till 10 o'clock. Boy, big day in sports. Tiger Woods at the White House, Slickster.
Yeah, good stuff.
Hockey game is underway. As the president just said, go home and watch the boys. Hopefully bring this one home.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing good, Big D. Yeah,
Big night here.
tonight, man. I got the red, white, and blue on. I'm ready to go. Come on.
Come on, let's go.
Come on.
And it's the boys about a minute 20 into the game.
Yep.
We'll be monitoring it all night, and we'll probably be yelling and screaming if they're scoring, and probably cursing if they're scoring on the other side.
Yep.
And by the way, shout out already to Paul Nolan, who decided he could not be here tonight, but they took Paul's advice, Delgado. Paul said what the American crowd should do is sing along as hard as they can to the Canadian anthem.
Right.
And not boo it. And when they started, there was maybe a smidge of boos.
I would call it a smattering, I believe.
A smattering, but for the most part, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
They sang along.
They didn't sing loud, which is fine, but they didn't hammer down the boos that I think that
they did to us.
We got on Saturday.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I would say respectful for sure would be a word.
Especially when it's coming out of Boston. Boston, oh my goodness, these people are nuts.
Yes.
Holy moly.
Yeah. All right, very good. Vinnie Mac's here. Vinnie Mac. Well, we were just talking about your involvement in Miracle in the movie the other day, and now here we are, big hockey game tonight. They used Herb Brooks in the opening.
Yeah, wasn't that amazing? That was a great opening, and still to this day, I get chills hearing that speech.
Absolutely.
This is your moment. You earned it. You know, talk about inspiration.
Crazy.
And I don't think what people really realized about Herb Brooks is this whole team winning that 1980, Olympic gold medal. He had a real plan. I mean, this was a psychological plan as much as a physical hockey plan. And what I love is these young guys now playing, they love that movie. And they're inspired by that. I hope it gave them a little jump.
And you know what's something to keep in mind, too? Those were kids back in 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. Sure. They were playing up against, the Russian professionals that were, 27 to 35.
35-year-old men.
35-year-old men. And these teenage kids who were maybe a year out of high school, some of them, going in and doing what they did.
And they've been together, the Russians, for 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. Winning gold, but together for 10 years. These kids were thrown together.
Yep.
But if you haven't seen the movie and you want to learn a little bit about psychology of sports, give it a watch.
Okay, big save already there. That looked a little worrisome right there.
I had it.
He's walked right in.
I had it the whole way.
Well, let's talk about where the day we spent most. First of all, let's talk about the big news of the day, which was not really CPAC. CPAC was an all-day thing today, day one. We'll get to that. But the big news of the day today, obviously, is Kash Patel.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
In at the FBI. Besides Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, we actually got. But today was good on a lot of levels. Kash is confirmed, and Mitch McConnell is gone. Or going to be gone. I mean, what a glorious day that is.
Yeah, they put him in the wheelbarrow.
What a glorious day. The day that some of us has waited to hear for a long time. I retired. Now, the only thing we wish is it was effective immediately. But unfortunately, it's not. Head to the dog track, pal. But Kash gets in, approved, 51-49. Susan Collins votes no. Lisa Murkowski votes no. The Bopsy twins again stick together.
Yep.
We got to do something about these two nerds. I don't know what it is, but we've got to get rid of them. We have got to do better than people like this.
Well, you know what? There's going to be some investigations. Who knows why they vote the way they vote? And maybe we'll see some things come through.
Good luck with those two.
You never know.
They're just stupid. They're not crooked. Well, they could be crooked, but I just think they're just stupid.
But the other side of that is the way we're united. The Republicans were united. Those two have been wild cards for a while, right? We've been complaining about them ever since I think we were doing the show. But the Republicans stuck together here to get Tulsi, to get RFK Jr., to get Kash. I mean, that took every bit of unity the Republican Party can pull together, and they did. Forget about those two.
Yeah. And you want to see the Senator Mark Wayne Mullen? He cast the 50th vote, and this is how he celebrated. I don't know if you guys caught this. This is cut number 7. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. Check this out.
This is getting out of control. Yep. Got it. Here we go. Ready?
Went back to his office.
Yes! You did it! You actually did. You were the vote. You were the vote.
Mike technically voted after me. So,
But you were the one that did 50.
I was the 50th, yes.
You did.
So there he is, celebrating the 50th vote for Mark Wayne Mullen.
He
for Kash
what
Patel.
was that? He spiked the football?
Yeah.
Okay. Who was the other guy? I couldn't tell.
I don't know.
Okay, obviously another. I would assume
That's
another
Benny
senator.
Johnson.
What was it?
That's Benny Johnson.
Oh, it was Benny Johnson.
Yes.
Oh, I couldn't.
wow.
Oh, I couldn't tell at all. Okay, very good.
But Benny.
Spiked the football right in their face, exactly, because they didn't think. I mean, you know what's amazing about the Democrats and Kash Patel? It is really, it's not lost on anybody, I don't think, but it is so rich. I am so sick of Democrats telling us about what they think Kash is going to do, yet they never have a problem with what their people have already done.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't tell us about what our people might do. We're worried about what they might do. Where were you when your people were doing it? None of you said a peep. You were all jumping for joy. Y'all thought it was great. None of you said anything. But we're worried about what our people are going to do, which, of course, they're not going to do. I'm sorry, Ben. These no-namers, Democrats who no one's ever heard of. I guess because Chris Murphy wasn't available today. I don't know. Maybe he was back in Connecticut doing something, but on MSNBC, a bunch of no-name senators I've never heard of on the Democrat side. Oh, well, it might this, he might do this, he might do that, and this vote's going to do this, and maybe he's going to come after me. And I'm thinking, I don't even know who you are.
As he should. But they did that to Trump, too. This was the entire narrative they did with Trump. He might do this, or he's going to do this. All speculative stuff to make everybody scared of things that Trump might do, could do. He inferred things that weren't even true. And then, Trump goes out and does what he does. And usually it's not what they're saying. But that was their narrative. That's how they ran against him. That if you look at all the rhetoric that went on back and forth through Biden, through Kamala Harris, through the media and everything, it was all Trump. Well, Trump's probably going to do this. He's going to do that. And this whole thing, if you look at that in the bigger context, this whole Russia thing, Trump's negotiating for minerals out of Ukraine. That's what's happening here. That's why Trump's doing what he's doing. He's nailing this guy down because he turned down the deal. You watch. Tomorrow, when you wake up, there's going to be a deal on the table for that. And then everything's going to calm down. That's how Trump operates. But right now, the left is all about Trump, Russia. He's in bed with Putin. He's doing all this stuff.
I mean, to listen to little Dick Durbin and a bunch of dicks. Dick Blumenthal, no pun intended. Dick Blumenthal and Dick Durbin all today about what Kash might do, what he might do. I mean, how about what you guys have done? Why are we worried about what he might do? Oh, this will vote. Well, you'll take it to your grave. You don't want to see the weaponization. Like they talk about it like we just got dropped on the planet today. You wouldn't want to see them weaponized against your political enemy.
Oh, no.
Well, you sure about that?
What? Excuse me?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in crazy town right now. What? Are you serious?
Here's the other thing I've noticed, which is glorious, by the way. And I don't know if you've picked up on it. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I've picked up on too much, but I still think it's glorious that the Democrats said to themselves, well, we need to kind of change maybe who we're putting out there. Chuck Schumer maybe doesn't work anymore. The Republicans are finally going to be rid of Mitch. They got J.D. Vance, man. He's a sniper when he talks. He's so good messaging.
Yep.
We've got to get a new messenger out there. Who can we go to really start to put out there a lot on the mainstream media? And somehow they've settled on Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah.
Does anybody notice that besides me?
I don't know if
it's glorious.
I don't know if they settled on her.
I can't believe it. How many appearances she's had in 2 days.
Or it's just the media goes, ooh, look, shiny, bright object. And she'll say anything. So let's put a mic in front of her. And she does.
But that's just what they want.
That's just as good as them directing her to go out. It's just as good.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't let down. Every time she opens her mouth, insert foot.
Keep it going.
Keep it going.
Make her go ahead.
Yeah.
Make her the voice for the next 4 years and then run Kamala again. Do it.
Kamala.
Come on.
Carmella. I'll take J.D. Vance on our side any day, any show against anyone.
Yep.
He's the guy I want to see out there talking.
I was a little nervous when I saw the turnout this morning, though, for the protest for Kash Patel. I don't know if you guys caught that.
No.
Here it is. It's picture number one. Look at who showed up to protest Kash Patel. Yeah.
Good.
Look at that. All 5 of them.
Yeah,
That's it.
Adam's pencil neck.
That's it.
Who still says he's got evidence that no one else has seen. White House, whose all-white club let him out for the day so he could go to this. Little Dick at the mic. And then Chris Coons, who, of course, is another talking head favorite of MSLSD and CNN. They always dig him out to come up there when they want someone to just say vicious, terrible things that are not true. And I can't tell who the guy behind Dick is. I have no idea.
I don't know who that is. But yeah, that was it. That was their turnout.
There's your
It's
lineup.
another Dick.
That was it.
Exactly.
You don't see the big crowd gathered around them. You don't see, other people, other staff. That was it.
This is manufactured hysteria.
That's it.
That's what they've got going on. That's what they've always had going on. It's
Block
manufactured.
Cash Patel. How'd that go?
Yeah.
Get back to us on that. Can we get an update on that sign? How did it work out for you? Oh, that's right. That's how it worked out.
Yeah.
Right there. Confirmed. In your face.
Now my big question is what happens with Adam Schiff? What does he do? He's in quite a spot.
Why?
Because he's a senator now.
Right.
But everything that he did in the past is open to examination. And Cash has already said he is a criminal.
Yeah.
He said it on podcast. We have a copy of it right here if you want to hear it.
I mean, listen, I hope I'm not wrong, but I think you're all going to be disappointed if you're waiting for... I mean, that's just my opinion. I hope I'm wrong.
He's got the pre-pardon thing.
If there's legit things, but I think we're looking forward. If I had to guess,
I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be one of the shortest-lived senators to ever serve.
That's
my theory.
The case.
I'm throwing it out there. Why? Because again, of what Cash Patel what he has seen. To be able to go up and say, and notice, Adam Schiff has never said, no, that's not true. I'm suing him for defamation. Hasn't said a word.
Yep.
Why? Because he's smarter than that. He knows, this guy knows where the bodies are buried, and he's got stuff on me. This is why Adam Schiff was the face of the block Cash Patel confirmation. I mean, here's what he said. Cut number 6. This is what Cash said on Adam Schiff. Check this out.
Adam Schiff is the worst criminal in Congress in the last 250 years. And what broke that we're going to talk about right now is Adam Schiff met with a whistleblower. Adam Schiff went to the podium day after day after day saying, I know nothing about this. We're not going to discuss it. We're going to protect it. And then Adam Schiff, led the prosecution of the impeachment trial in the Senate of President Donald Trump. Talk about someone who was conflicted out of the game because he was part of the hoax that brought Charmella in, manufactured that false accusation, and then peddled it out to the world. And he continued, not surprising, he's lied about almost everything in his life. But now he lied just to set up a presidential impeachment. And that's what I was talking about, these disinformation campaigns. And then he should be investigated because he lied to the world about his interactions with Charmella, who is a whistleblower, and I can't stress it enough, that started a presidential impeachment. Now, your history is way better than mine, but I can't remember the last time a president was actually impeached. It's a significant process and escalation, and it's reserved for the time when it actually shows a crime, not when it shows the manufacture of fake information to show a fake crime.
That's right.
The guy that found and manufactured the evidence with Charmella was the prosecutor in the case against the target of the investigation. That is the ultimate, from a prosecutorial standpoint, conflict of interest. But he knew what he was doing, and he thought he would never get exposed. And I think thanks to, I think it was John Solomon and his fantastic reporting, we now see what I've been saying for years, that I thought he met with him for sure, and it will come out, and it now has.
Yeah. So there you have it. I'm cheering the day that Adam Schiff goes away. And I hope it's in bracelets.
Yeah, I hope
really
so,
do. He has been just a cancer on this country. Just peddling lie after lie. And, of course, the media, giving him every platform, every opportunity to spill his ugly face out there and perpetrate this lie after lie after lie. And what has it gotten us? It got us derailed for the first presidency halfway, right? It led to 2 impeachments, and you still have the garbage still out there. People going, oh, he's still a Russian agent. And it's all because of this D-bag.
No, it's all that brainwashing thing we talked about, all the manipulation. Yeah. The media never questioned him. Well, what is the evidence? I don't know. I have this. It's there. I can't release it. I've seen it. But the media is as culpable as he is because they didn't question him.
Right.
They never challenged it. I hear where you're going with this because I'd like some redemption too.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. But I do want to move forward as well. I don't want to get caught in just a redemption trip here with cash.
We can chew gum and walk at the same time.
Yeah, I hope that's the case.
I think they can.
I'm with you.
By the way, Delgado, I'm totally on board with your whole deal. I'd like to see it happen because I think cash could do it and actually build the real case, not this. I almost just cursed right there. not this BS that they did with Trump. So I think they could really build that this is actually what should happen the right way.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow's day one. Do you think he's turning the Hoover Building into a museum? The deep state?
Oh.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Yeah. I'm just glad it's day one of Cash Patel. That's the most important thing. Preemptively pardoned, yeah. He pardoned the whole January 6th committee.
Factor that into all your decision making there.
Yeah.
I'll still stand by it.
Yeah.
Because I think they can overturn it.
Rick, I want you to
You
factor
think
that
they
in.
can overturn them?
I think the AG is going to try and do that.
Yeah.
She's talked about that.
Listen, I'm all for it, but good luck.
They also take time. It's not happening tomorrow.
Every Wednesday.
Chat. What's going on?
Willie the Whale. Can't get that Carvella ads out of my head.
First super chat of the night comes from Child of the King. $20 super chat. Please send my heartfelt gratitude to the chat for thinking about me. The LFS6B family is a real thing. We are a family of patriots. Please send my love and regards to the chat and the boys at LFS6B.
Wow.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Child of the King checking in.
All right. I did not know that.
Ooga. Ooga.
Yep.
Ooga.
I went to Carvel, by the way, after we talked about it. I was very happy about it. And I'm going to go. I was going to go on a Wednesday because Wednesday you get 2 free. And I think you get a Willie the Whale too. Every Monday, Sundays.
What did you get, Vin?
I got a large vanilla with chocolate sprinkles. Thank you very much.
That's a solid go-to.
You can't miss. You can't miss.
You get a cone
Drag
or a cup?
Blacker, can Damon skate on ice?
Ooh, Damon. Are you a hockey player? Have you played?
No.
No. There we go. Check, please.
Dave Syverson, which side are you on, Damon? I don't know what that means.
Well, that's a song. Which side are you on?
Oh, yeah. Come on. Oh, that's right. Maybe you got to sing it to me for me to get it.
All right. Okay.
$20 super chat, Child of the King. That was from that guy.
That guy is back in action. He wasn't around.
I get it. That was from that guy. I was wondering. I was thinking, wait, was Child of the King not around lately or something? Oh, yes. That guy. We were wondering where he was. Now I get it. Okay.
Really?
Okay.
Please send my heartfelt gratitude to the chat for thinking about me. Yes, that guy. We were thinking about you.
Thank you. I'm lost.
That's okay, Ben. Nothing's new. I've been doing this for 10 years, and I feel the same way every day.
You're lost, and you've been here for a while. It's okay. Okay.
$5 super chat. Second one in. LSU Patriot, $5 super chat. How do you guys feel about having Tlaib and Omar removed and denaturalized? Do we have a chance? Ultimate examples of anti-Americans. Make an example of them. Yeah, totally agree.
Totally.
Agree.
If they have a case, prosecute it. The only way you stop this is by prosecuting people.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B. Welcome on in, everybody. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Started out the show tonight with President Donald Trump speaking at what was the official, that was all 50 governors? Was that all the governors or was it only Republican governors?
I believe it was the Republican Governors Association, so whoever belongs to that.
Okay, the Republican Governors Association President Trump spoke to tonight. And that's how we opened the show for the first about half hour, 24 minutes of the show. The president, we caught the tail end of his speech. Busy day for the president. He did a Black History Month celebration at the White House where he had Tiger Woods with him. Adam Scott was there, both in the PGA. He had Jay Monahan. I noticed the president didn't go over my head. He said we've had some interesting talks today with Tiger, Adam Scott, and Jay Monahan. I'm assuming those talks are about the future of the PGA Tour and LIV, the LIV Tour, and what they're going to do with the two of them. I'll bet the president, obviously being a huge lifelong golfer and fan of golf, wants to try to be in the middle of those discussions to bring harmony to that situation.
Well, yeah, according to Rory McIlroy and I think it was Bryson DeChambeau, they think he's the only one that can do it.
Yes.
They think he's the only one that can kind of broker that deal and get everybody on the same page.
Rory, I guess I have to stop wishing for Rory to be falling in the ocean or the ponds on these courses as I have been since he trashed Trump when he played with him last time.
I remember that.
Hoping that he misses every cut, which has been hard because he's great. So at least he's come back around now. So now maybe I can start rooting for Rory again. What do you think, Slick? Am I at the point where I can root for him?
Nah, not yet.
Not yet. We don't trust him yet, totally.
I don't trust him just yet.
All right, so maybe he can just fall into a stream now, not the actual pond. So.
Exactly.
All right, so we'll get to also CPAC today. Some good speeches there. Elon was there. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the hockey game right now, though. Update on the hockey game, not great, but this is the way it started the other night, too.
That's true.
Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell and My Pillow. I saw Mike Lindell at CPAC. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Slickster, what's going on in sports?
All right, Big D. Well, we got a big game tonight. This is the biggest thing going on in sports. There's some other action. I'll get to those scores as well. But we've got the TD Garden, the nation's face-off here. What a great game. Just started out, and Nathan McKinnon lights the lamp first from the Colorado Avalanche for Team Canada, who leads 1-0. But we got about 7 minutes to go in the first. Plenty of time.
That's as good a look as they're going to get right there.
Yeah.
That was a great look.
I know. It's just the puck doesn't seem to be bouncing their way.
No.
But we got time. We got time now. A couple of good saves as well by Hellebuck for the Team USA. Good goalie. It was a great shot. Real C&I shot. He was screened in front. The shot was probably from about 40 feet out. And just a great goal by Canada. So we'll see what happens. Crowd is pumped up. Great national anthem. Big D. We'll be tracking this game. 6:54 to go in the first period. Canada 1, USA 0. Okay, let's get to a couple other scores with all the stuff going on. Oh, well, of course, President Trump made a great phone call, too. I'll bring that story up in a little bit. But NBA action right now. Well, the Celtics are in Philly tonight because can't play in the TD Garden. That's where the game is with the USA. They're bombing the Celtics right now, the Sixers, I should say. 174 at the end of 3. Sixers have all but quit for the season, I feel. Pacers 191 over the Grizzlies. Minute to go there in the third. At the half, Magic up over the Hawks 59-58. Nets over the Cavs 50-48. And the Knicks right now lead the Bulls 50-43. Again, all those games at the half. Bucks 41-37 over the Clippers. 6 to go in the second period there. And I'll get to a quick story here. We talked about it earlier. Tiger Woods joins Trump at White House reception honoring Black History Month. This is Nick Gilbertson of Breitbart Sports. Washington legendary golfer Tiger Woods joined President Donald Trump Thursday for a Black History Month celebration at the White House. Woods, sporting the Presidential Medal of Freedom Trump awarded him during his first term, entered the East Room with the president as Hail to the Chief played. Woods delivered a few remarks at the urging of the president and the crowd, who chanted "Tiger, Tiger" repeatedly. It's an honor to be here, and it's an honor to be here with you, Mr. President, Woods said, adding he was honored to be with those in attendance as well. Woods boasts one of the most impressive resumes in PGA Tour history. He has 82 PGA Tour wins under his belt and 12 international wins to go, along with 31 finishes as runner-up. Trump gave Woods the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest achievable civilian award in America, in May 2019 during a ceremony in the Rose Garden. But it seems like yesterday, right? Tiger, we are inspired by everything you have become and attained. The job you have done is incredible. Your spectacular achievements on the golf course, your triumph over physical adversity, and your relentless will to win, 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 Trump said at the time. Trump on Thursday also announced a number of America's black icons whom he says will have statues in the newly announced National Garden of American Heroes, which Trump directed to be created in an executive order last month, will honor hundreds of greatest Americans to ever live, including countless black Americans. Icons, he said, the garden will predominantly feature incredible women like Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, Billie Holiday, Aretha Franklin, and Coretta Scott King, he said. Wow, it's some list. We are going to produce some of the most beautiful works of art in the form of a statue for men like Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, Jackie Robinson. What a great athlete that was. Martin Luther King Jr., and of course, the great Muhammad Ali, probably one of the greatest faces there, right, as far as somebody that they recognize. And the late Kobe Bryant. People love Kobe Bryant, he went on to add. Trump noted that several states very badly want to be the home of the eventual garden. Trump joked that they would save Tiger Woods for another time, of course. So that was great stuff, Big D. And that's a wrap in sports. Still 1-0 up in Boston. Canada leading. And that's a wrap, Big D.
Tiger walked out with the president into a tremendous cheer and walked up on stage, and the president went over to the mic and he acknowledged Adam Scott and he acknowledged Jay Monahan. And then he said, "No, but there's nothing like our Tiger." And then he said, "Would you like to maybe say a few words?" And Tiger kind of went like, no. And then we started getting the Tiger chant.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
President Trump started to do this with his arms. And then Tiger took the mic, of course, because what choice do you have when the president's doing that?
Yeah, no choice.
And he just said, "It's an honor to be here with all of you. It's an honor to be here with you, Mr. President. And thank you all very much." And it was good. And let me just say this. Tiger got a much nicer response than one of the other guests. Do you have this clip?
Yeah, of course I do.
I don't know how he got on the I don't know how he got on the invitation list or what possibly Trump thought the reception was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe he knew what it was going to be.
I do remember this.
He didn't act like he knew it was going to be.
I don't think he
Why
was
don't we roll
surprised.
that? What clip is that?
This would be cut number 13 as Trump introduces a certain CEO to the crowd here at the White House. Cut 13, check this out.
I think this guy's in the
We
wrong
also
room.
have the head of Pfizer here, so I want to thank him. One of the great people, one of the great businessmen. Thank you, Albert. Thank you.
And Trump just keeps saying thank you.
Thank you very much.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yep. He really got needled.
Thank you very much.
Now I think he's just thanking the crowd for booing him.
He got a good laugh
They were
out of
needling
that,
him.
you know?
He did.
Yeah.
He really did get a good laugh out.
That was great.
That clip didn't. I mean, that's a little short. It went on for a little bit.
Yeah. It was a little
Trump.
awkward,
If you
right?
see the straight on picture of Trump, he kind of looks up. He starts to kind of smile and think, "Oh, how am I going to get? What do I do here?" And I don't know. How does he get into the room? Who invites him?
That's a great question.
Terrible.
It was probably something where the guy's trying to, curry favor now that he's in charge. Because we all saw it happen once he got elected.
You think?
You saw everybody making their way. There were migrations of old men making their way to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring, saying, "Oh my goodness, we were so wrong." Well, we were just kidding. We were joking about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now that he's in
Would've meant no
charge,
harm.
and
But they're a big sponsor.
Yeah, Albert.
They're the big sponsor,
showed up.
aren't they?
Who?
Pfizer.
For what?
For the golf. They're a big sponsor.
It could be.
Oh, I'm
I
sure.
believe
Yeah.
that's part of it.
Yeah, they
a
do
big part of it.
A lot of commercials.
Viagra?
Yeah,
That's Pfizer
true.
makes that.
Yeah,
I know nothing about that pill. Just letting you know that. But I'm just saying they make it.
That's a whole different club.
Let's take a look at this angle of the same thing, Aaron. Throw this up just for a second.
What color is that
We
pill?
also have the head of Pfizer here, so I want to thank him. One of the great people, one of the great businessmen.
Sure wasn't
Thank
the
you,
Canadian
Albert.
national anthem?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We also have the head of Pfizer here.
That's brutal.
Thank you very much.
Someone's not reading the room there in the old invitation room there at the White House on that one. Still think the vaccines are like, hey, okay, maybe. Same person who thinks that maybe invited him. I don't know.
Maybe they thought they could just slip him in. Just kind of
Quietly.
slide him. Right, quiet.
You got a jab, all right.
Look at one.
They had a couple good chances.
They just need one.
Get one past this moose humping nerd.
Okay. I believe that's a technical term for hockey now. Yes. Moose.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Poor moose.
Yes.
Let's go.
Let's
Talk about
moose.
an EU comment.
Well, that's a good selection of description there, Damon.
Oh, really? Who?
They're doing okay.
Okay.
We got Harry Oates at CPAC.
Harry's at the hockey game. Where's Harry been, man? I haven't seen that guy in a while.
Yeah, he's been on the road, man.
Harry's at CPAC.
They got him working. Like
He's at CPAC.
Yeah.
Look at
He
that.
just got a new moose.
a chocolate mousse.
I text Harry today a bunch of times. Shockingly, he didn't text me.
No, he's like you. You don't text back either much.
He didn't text back. What do you mean I don't text back?
You don't
What
think
are
I
you talking
decided.
about?
Oh,
Peel this
sarcastic
onion.
prodigy, Big D, in the super chat YouTube. We're getting look at all. We could have had nachos tonight with all these super chats. For goodness' sake, is Adam Schiff still in search of the Dem Holy Grail of the P tape? Schiff exhibits the traits of billy goats and toads that urinate on themselves. Thank you, sarcastic prodigy. $10. Glad I had my dinner already.
I have a friend who still thinks that P tape's real. He brings it up regularly.
Yeah, sarcastic is on it.
He has. He's probably seen a moose pee, but he's not going to see a Trump P tape. I don't think ever. I hold that against him, of course. Where's the P tape? Where's the P tape?
I mean, can we win a face-off here for crying out loud?
my God.
Now,
Good gravy.
now he's getting irritated.
Well, yeah, this is supposed to.
I mean, come on.
It's hockey.
Right.
Got 60 minutes here. Plenty of time.
Let's control.
Exactly.
Even on shots, I mean 9-9. I mean that's pretty good. They got that one goal. That was just a perfect. It was like a seeing eye dog goal. That goal. It was just like I just threw it on net, found its way.
I missed
We
it.
may have to get
There's the guy who
get our
scored.
new things on
Nathan McKinnon.
flags.
Our new
We
flag-
got
our
to
flag-
get the
Our flag blankets.
for the second quarter.
Yeah.
Second
Second-
quarter. What's
second
what
period.
are you watching?
Second period.
Oh my goodness.
Second period. If they don't score here in the
You
first,
sound like Harry.
you know what I mean.
I know.
Shut up.
Wait, no, you're on it. You're on it.
I'm sure by the third inning, the game will be going great.
Yeah.
Well, hey, and if not, definitely by the third set.
They only got one run.
Get it out.
They got the next bullseye.
Oh God, nice save. Oh my God.
I was impressed how you pronounced the goalie's name.
Yeah.
That guy, it's like got like 20 consonants in his name, and you
Yeah,
came right out with it.
That's it, man.
I thought it was a taxi driver.
Oh, come on. We need to go. Oh,
All right. Okay. All right. That hurt.
All right, live from Studio 6B, hour 2. Quiet, Aaron. Live from Studio 6, Real America's Voice, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in as well. Slick's doing sports. Delgado's going to do some news. Vinnie Mac's got some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down. We've got USA Canada hockey on the TV. We are monitoring every second of this. 3 minutes to go in the first. Canada's still up 1-0. See, USA's won 7 straight faceoffs. Just as I said, can we win some faceoffs? Now we've won 7 in a row, but we still
look
have
at
no
this.
goals.
Look
So
out.
that's all right.
Wrap
Get you
around.
in the
time.
booth.
Oh,
Still for
Goal.
yeah, there we go.
Okay, I told you.
There you go.
Patience.
1-1, baby.
Patience.
Goal for the Americans.
nice.
1-1. Here we
USA
go.
has
Let's go.
tied it up.
Let's
They
get it
lit the
on.
lamp.
There we go.
Come on.
Oh, is
1-1.
that Brady?
Looks like it.
Who got that?
Looks like Brady could shoot.
All right, there we go. 1-1. We're all tied up in Boston. Let's go.
Wow.
USA, baby. Let's go.
Just as you were complaining.
yeah.
You got it.
That's all you got to do.
There it is.
Yeah, Brady.
You just got to
Brady.
yell. You got to just yell, stick it
Oh,
to these
wow.
moose humping nerds, and then
Yeah.
they score.
Man,
See?
that was just woof.
There
what
you
a
go.
beautiful-
So,
I think the moose humping nerd had something to do with it.
all right, hour 2, lots to do. Dr. Peter McCullough is going to join us. If he's watching the show, I'm sure he's glad he's going to join us.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Sticking at me, I'll take a rain check.
See if he's got any.
He'll join us at 9:30. Slick's going to do some more sports in hour 2, but let's start hour 2 with some news and hear what that is. Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
Yeah, let's see if he has any medicine for that moose humping you've been talking about. Bad news across some of the things that we've been going on here. One of these days where there's so many different news stories to pick from, I feel like I just want to get this one out of the way because it's so terrible. Body of Hamas was not, body returned by Hamas, I should say. Turns out was not Shiri Bibas. The IDF declares it's a serious violation as remains of her 2 kids were positively identified. I don't know if you heard this earlier. They thought it was her and the 2 kids, which I guess were returned in just disgusting condition. The body of the slain hostages with the 2 children, the 2 young sons. But it turns out this story just breaking at 8:03 p.m. says they identified the remains as not of the mom of Shiri Bibas. The Israeli Defense Forces announced Thursday night that while the bodies of the murdered children, Ariel and Kafir, were positively identified after being handed off in coffins by Hamas, another casket contained an anonymous unidentified body, not their mother that they thought originally was. Her remains were supposed to be released, along with the bodies of her 2 young children and hostage Oded Lefshis, as part of the Israeli-Hamas ceasefire agreement, but that has not come to pass. The IDF slammed Hamas in a statement and demanded her body to be returned to the Jewish state. They said this is a serious violation by the Hamas terrorist organization, which is required by the agreement to return 4 dead hostages. We demand that Hamas return her home along with all our other hostages. The body was supposed to be hers, but was not. And again, it's just another example of what we're dealing with in that part of the country. And everybody thinks, oh, well, you just, as the Biden administration did, just continue to say, oh, if we just kowtow to them, let's keep giving them money, let's give them every opportunity, they will continue to let you down and kill you, because that's what they do. So, unfortunately,
that part of the world,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that's what
the idea that somehow they were going to be truthful, or somehow you were going to be able to get on the same level and negotiate in some way. I mean, again, Trump has it right when he said all hell needed to break loose. What he meant was, and what should have happened, is they need to just be wiped off the face of the earth.
Very much.
Is what needs to happen. You're never going to deal truthfully. You're never going to be able to count on anything you hear. None of this should be a surprise. It can be an outrage, but this should not be a surprise that they're dealing from underneath the deck. From underneath the deck, because what would you expect from the worst of the worst?
Right. Just disgusting. So let's hope. Let's hope that the remains of the mom do get returned so they can be put to rest positively with the rest of the family and the 2 young sons, which is it's heartbreaking when you see the pictures, of who they were and the life that they had.
It's sickening.
Yeah.
It makes you want to throw up.
It makes you want to get super aggressive and take these people out.
Bingo.
I heard something, though, Rick, I don't know if you heard this during this story, that the hostages that have been released have said not one Gazan, a citizen, helped any of them.
Of course not.
And even during the Holocaust, many of the Jews were helped by people, locals, who didn't want to see this type of carnage. Not one. That's unbelievable. I find that unbelievable. That's just humanity. I don't.
I don't.
Yeah,
this is the argument that people talk about all the time about that part of the world and Gaza and the people in Gaza and Hamas. Most of them support.
Yeah.
Most of them in the area have supported. They know what's going on. They know. It's like when you hear this humanitarian aid. There's no such thing in that part of the world as humanitarian aid.
Yeah.
It's just propping up Hamas, and the people there know it. They let it go. They sign off on it. For the most part, they know exactly what's going on. They know what they've done. They know what they're doing. Most people there support what Hamas is doing, and they support Hamas as an entity in that region.
Or they're just afraid. Support and afraid, I would think, would be probably a double combo there. If they ever helped a Jew who's been, a hostage, they're probably afraid they get killed themselves. I mean, that's what the Nazis did to people who helped the Jews back then.
Executed
I would
them.
think the river from the river to the sea crowd is most people who live there.
I agree with you. That's a sick way of looking at humanity, frankly.
Definitely.
Not the way you're looking at. I'm just saying their view of humanity.
Well, that's what you're dealing with over there. So you got to treat them as such.
And by the way, it's a lot of the Democratic Party today too.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
Speaking of which,
yeah.
Here in New York State, turns out Governor Hochul's not very happy with the Trump administration after he pulled the plug on New York City's immensely unpopular congestion pricing scheme as a noisy contingent of politicians and advocates backing the toll piled on with their own saber rattling. Yes, you've heard that correctly. Democrats are now angry because they want to be able to tax New Yorkers and people visiting New York City even more than they already do. You can't make it up. Face plant yourself right there. Just keep stepping on the rakes. We enjoy it. In a statement issued less than an hour after U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy sent a letter to Governor Hochul, putting her on notice, MTA Chair and CEO Janno Lieber as well praised the toll scheme and vowed to fight back against the administration's baseless effort. It says here, according to this article, from the New York Post, today the MTA filed papers in federal court to ensure that the highly successful program of taxing you to oblivion, which already dramatically reduced congestion, bringing reduced traffic and faster travel times while increasing speeds for buses and emergency vehicles, will continue notwithstanding this baseless effort to snatch those benefits away from the millions of mass transit users, pedestrians, and especially drivers who come to Manhattan's central business district, according to Lieber. He said in a statement, the suit filed Wednesday in Manhattan federal court names Duffy and Federal Highway Administration Executive Director Gloria Shepard, as well as their respective agencies, and touted enacting congestion pricing as having embarked on a bold new program to tax the hell out of the middle class of America. It's mystifying that after 4 years and 4,000 papers of federally supervised environmental review, that's what it takes these days to get something done. 4,000 papers of environmental review. And barely 3 months after giving final approval to the congestion relief program, U.S. DOT would seek to totally reverse course, Lieber said in a statement. Well, that's what happens. You see, you lose an election, and the people who are helping you raise taxes across the board are no longer there to subsidize you and help you raise taxes. There's a new sheriff in town, I think.
Here's the other thing on this congestion pricing thing that the Democrats do not understand. This is why they should never be in charge. And it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
What happened when they started this congestion thing? Fewer people were going into the city, right? A lot fewer. It wasn't a little fewer.
Right.
It was a lot. You've got restaurants, clubs, bars, fitness gyms, all these things going on in the city. And that's what they rely on. All these people coming in.
Yeah.
Terrible.
This is what's called an economy. This is called economics, okay? They don't understand that congestion pricing because they're trying to pull money in any which way they can.
Right.
They think this is how short-sighted and upside down the Democrats are in general. They do not understand economics, the economy, and capitalism by any means.
Yeah, and I can understand if these were pristine roads, oh my goodness, you could eat off them. It's still the same garbage it was the day before. It's just costing you $9 and sometimes more just to drive on the same crappy roads that have always been there. That, by the way, you already paid for with the taxes you already paid.
Yeah.
So the fact that New York City and the state actually can't get their crap together and actually figure out, hey, where are we wasting money so we don't have to put this tax on the people of New York, and possibly, again, like you said, Vin, they're not thinking long term. Because long term means you're going to be out because people are going to be like, we don't like this congestion pricing. We don't like what you guys have been doing. We pay more taxes than just about every other state in the country. And what do we get for it? Nothing. So hopefully,
it's typical.
Yeah, hopefully this will be another push to get to get a change in terms of who leads this state and who leads New York City.
New York is so desperate for money that these little things, they think are going to make a difference or bring in tax revenue. I don't know if anyone who has a business right now, you have to file a certain certification number now, or you get fined $500, I believe it's a month. Pocahontas put this through. These are what
I believe it's a day.
A day.
If you don't do the kind of, they want to know who owns the company, how much of the company they own. They want to know all the people who are involved with it. It had to be done by January 1st of this year. I think it's per day, the fine.
That's right. What I found outrageous about that, because I had to do it. I got a bunch of companies. I had to go do it. I got the number. You did it too.
Yep.
But the only reason, in my view, it existed is because Pocahontas is trying to figure out ways to bring in more tax revenue into the government because people aren't going to comply, completely, and they're going to fine all these companies and go through that. It's the same thing that New York State is doing. It's that left-wing mentality of having no idea how to run a business. That's why every day is like a holiday right now. Because you see people like Trump in the office and Vance, they know how to run things. They think like, who do you think Biden would ever go to Ukraine and say, yeah, let's settle this thing up with Russia. By the way, we need you to pay us back. So we want your minerals. Okay. We want to cut a deal on all those minerals. And by the way, China has most of them. And you have a lot. So let's make a deal. No, we're not interested in making a deal. All right. You're a loser. I'm going to talk to Putin. This is what this is what he's doing, but it's about business and it's about peace. It's just so smart.
And like I said last night, at this point we kind of own Ukraine, right? We put enough money into it. We have the people that are, we pick the leaders. We do everything over there. We tell them how to do everything. It's kind of like ours.
It's sort of. It's I guess
it's kind of like ours.
Governor, what's his name?
Zelensky.
All right, live from Studio 6B. We'll be back. Vinnie Mac's got some thoughts.
Yeah.
Dr. Peter McCullough will join us. Then we'll do some more sports with Slick on a Thursday night. We're back right after this.
That's not a bad thing. Freaking freezing.
Oh, man. I'm a little hurting. I had to move my daughter's chest of drawers down the stairs into my car and to her place. And I did it by myself. Thank you.
Congratulations.
It was very much like a Three Stooges episode. Had the makings of a Three Stooges episode. I was proud of myself. I had a lot of doubters. You can't do this.
Most of them were probably yourself.
I would look in the mirror and say, you can't do it. Oh, boy.
All right, intermission, Big D. Tied at one here. Here we go. Come on.
Looks like a good game. Actually, it looks like a mirror of the first
USA
game.
really stepped it up because in the first 5 minutes, it was all Canada.
Chat. What's going on, Chat?
That's the thing. You got to withstand the barrage.
That's it.
And then it settles down.
It's like a heavyweight fight. You just put the gloves up, just take a few shots, let them punch themselves out.
Mm-hmm.
Delgado, what's the K on your laptop for? Someone wants to know. Cat in the chat wants to know.
That's because that's who owns this laptop. I've been borrowing it from Kayla since my other one crapped out.
Oh.
John Q. Public.
Your Mac crapped out?
Yeah.
$10 super chat. Breaking the Ninth Circuit Court has ordered deportations of illegal Venezuelan migrants halted and charging Kristi Noem with a hate crime by calling them dirtbags. Source CBS News Miami.
That's
Come on.
That's lovely. That's lovely.
Come on. That can't be real. Is that real? That can't be real.
I don't know.
No way.
You're going to run that, Steve?
What is real is that you have a read here.
With Carville?
Come on, friend.
We do have a couple James Carville clips.
Yeah.
He has been on fire.
Boy, Aaron was spending 45 minutes just getting all the bleeps. And
there was a 5-banger on one of them.
Whoa, that guy.
Well, Carville is exactly one. When I say that he looks at Jasmine Crockett going out there and thinks this party is just doomed. They're not learning anything.
Yeah.
No, not
Carville,
at all.
say what you will about him, but he knows how to win. He knows he knows how to win campaigns. He knows what to do.
The raging Cajun.
You don't have to agree with him or like him at all, but this guy runs successful campaigns. He knows the deal.
He's been the man.
And he's looking at what this party's doing right now and wants to
Vomit.
Is it James Carville?
Yeah, it's Carville. Right.
James Carville? I didn't know he was related. He's great with the Democratic Party, and he's very good with soft ice cream. Yeah. Make a note of that.
And look, here she is again.
Oh.
Representative Crockett. We are not in the business of giving out money and All right, 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. That sounds like the blues, which means I'm going to talk to you about somebody. Who am I talking about tonight, Aaron? Do we know? Patriot Mobile. I saw the guys from Patriot Mobile today at CPAC over there at the Real America's Voice booth. And they were talking about it. While we may have won the election, the fight to restore our great nation is only beginning. Now is the time to take a stand. And Patriot Mobile is leading that charge. As America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, Patriot Mobile offers a way to vote with your wallet without compromising on quality or convenience. Patriot Mobile isn't just about providing exceptional cell phone service. It's a call to action to defend your rights and freedoms. With Patriot Mobile, you'll get outstanding nationwide coverage because they operate on all three major networks. If you have cell phone service today, you can get cell phone service with Patriot Mobile, and you can get a coverage guarantee. But the difference is every dollar you spend supports the First and Second Amendments, the sanctity of life, and our veterans and first responders. Switching is easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or you can upgrade. Their 100% U.S.-based customer support team will help you find the perfect plan for you. Right now, go to patriotmobile.com/RAV, patriotmobile.com/RAV, or you can call 972-PATRIOT, the number right there on your screen, 972-PATRIOT. You can get a free month of service. What? A free month of service with promo code RAV, R-A-V. Switch to Patriot Mobile today and defend freedom with every call and text that you make. Visit patriotmobile.com/RAV or call 972-PATRIOT. 18 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Vinnie Mac is here. Vinnie Mac, what's been on your mind here since Tuesday?
Oh, boy. Like I was saying earlier, like every day feels like a holiday. Like today was like a great day, in relation to Trump and everything he's doing. And every once in a while, he just comes out with what I just think is genius. Just literal genius. The Gaza thing I thought was genius because it's gotten everybody in that part of the world thinking, this guy's going to come in here and create this, redo Gaza and make it this major resort town. We better get our act together and do something. Well, the thing he talked about today, and he's talked about it a little in the past, but today it really came out, and that is the idea of eliminating the IRS. And when I heard this initially, because I've heard it floated around for a while, I'm like, what is he talking about, eliminating the IRS? I've always been in favor of the flat tax. That's something I've just been on that train because I just feel like, okay, make it fair for everybody, okay? We all pay the same percentage of tax, just like we do with sales tax and so on in a city. But he has taken this to what I believe is the foundation of a complete pivot and change in how a government actually operates. He's talking about getting rid of the IRS and implementing the External Revenue Service, utilizing tariffs and things like that happen every day anyhow to pay for our government services. No personal tax, no corporate tax. It's all in that bucket. And it sounds, oh, wow, this sounds great. I don't have to pay tax. It is way bigger than that. If you have a society that is funded by the commerce of that society through international trade, and your citizens aren't paying that bill and having to have hard-earned money paid in taxes, that is like a colossal win. There's not a society ever that's done anything remotely like this. It is genius, flat-out genius. The elimination of the IRS, and we all have this, I know I do. I mean, I think about the IRS sometimes, and I don't think about it in a good way, because all I think about is, oh boy, I don't want to get a letter. I don't want to get audited. I don't want any of this stuff to happen. I don't have good thoughts. I don't think anybody has a positive thought about the IRS. Oh, these are, great guys, right? I love these guys. Oh boy, I hope to get to meet one.
He said that, not me.
Yeah. I know there are people, and I have friends of mine that talk about, you need to pay your fair share of taxes. I'm like, no, I believe in what Trump says. I'm going to use every avenue that's legal to pay the least amount of taxes. And I think I'm not alone. Having said that, think about the magnitude of this idea. The External Revenue Service replacing the IRS and bringing in the same amount of money. So I've been thinking about that today because I think that is the biggest colossal pivot I've ever heard in government. So kudos to Trump for thinking out of the box.
I agree with that.
If he can pull it off, yeah.
Exactly.
Huge,
But
huge.
you just said the main point, which is if anybody can pull this off,
pull it off.
Yep.
it's Donald Trump. And the other thing about it, just like Gaza and so on, and this is how Trump operates, he'll do it. He will, if they don't step up in the Middle East, Egypt and all these other countries and go rebuild Gaza the way it should be, he's going to do it. There's no question in my mind that he will do it. And if people think he's joking about this IRS thing, and I bet you a lot of people are not taking him too seriously on this.
Yeah.
But he can, and he will do it.
Yeah. And did you hear him today? He was talking about going to check out Fort Knox.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Scott Besson said that all the gold is in Fort Knox. He's already checked it. He said everything there is accounted for. So
Scary thing.
Well, that's
I don't know about
good to
that.
know.
that's the truth.
I know he said it.
Yeah.
I don't know. How does
wanna
he
see
know
pictures.
it's all there? Did he count it?
Oh, God.
I'm just saying.
The question, Vin, on that is that can tariffs actually support a government where the GDP is now 35% of the actual country, where back when before the income tax it was about 7%. So you're talking something that's 5 times bigger.
Yep.
Government was about 7% of GDP. Now it's about 35% of GDP.
Yes. But what's going on right now? We are downsizing the government. We're downsizing our expenditures. The government's not going to be at the percentiles it is.
Yeah,
it
but
is
are
now.
we?
This is what I believe is happening. If that is, I think that is actually happening, and I think that's going to be very low. The other side of it is, if your income's coming from the things that he's proposing through the External Revenue Service, what happens? What is the logical thing that happens? I'll tell you what happens. More things are going to be made here to be exported out to other countries. More trade deals are going to happen to make that happen more. More parity in tariffs because countries, we're not going to pay, a lot more to have a product come here as we would to put it in their country. It's got to be the same. All of those things are going to happen congruently. Taking down the government in terms of smaller agencies, less people, less overhead, taking down the wasted money, and then adding these things. It has incredible implications for everybody, for jobs, for wages, for trade, you name it. It's brilliant.
I would think it would have a never seen before uniting factor to the country as well, as far as completely getting rid of the idea of total class warfare, of us versus them, of rich versus poor, of rural versus urban, that kind of stuff, where everybody is incentivized for the betterment of the country.
Yeah, great point. And that's just another bonus. And, we could use that.
Well, not only for the benefit of the country, but for the benefit of themselves. How many people are, struggling? When you start doing well, then what naturally happens is you want to do better and you want to see everybody else do better because it's kind of that snowball effect. And I think, mentally, and we've talked about this, consumer confidence, that's a real thing. That would also be affected because those things are all tied together. And then when you talk about, eliminate, you also keep in mind, Damon, too, there's probably going to be a lot of countries not getting money anymore from us. Yep. That's going to eliminate a lot of waste, too, because we're the only country, nobody sends money to us, right? I haven't seen a check come from Afghanistan saying, you know what, we know you guys are hitting some tough times. Here's $100 billion. No, we do that for every other country around the world. That stuff is going to stop. And, if that means, hey, that's where the haircuts are going to come. The haircuts are going to come in this part of the government. This part of the government, foreign aid is going to be strictly limited to maybe only the people that we are allies with and who actually need it. I think that it'll go a long way to reducing that 35% and making those two numbers kind of come together a little bit better.
That 35 is coming down.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Damon's a spender.
I've said this all along.
What's that?
What Doge is doing, but 100 billion, 200 billion, 300 billion, that's like a speck of sand off the beach with this behemoth that we've grown.
Well, wait till you see it get to a trillion, and then we'll talk about it. Because I think we're getting there.
Tea time.
All right, we're back. Dr. Peter McCullough right after this.
You got to lose it.
Oh, we almost scored.
All right,
Look at this.
All right, second period's underway. 17 minutes left. 1-1.
Son of a.
Yep.
We almost
Mother.
scored.
The Moose Humper from Moose
Let me
Shore,
see this.
Saskatoon.
Let me see this. Let me see
Again,
this.
Kachuk brother, right in front
Oh,
of
yeah,
the net.
Right in front.
Oh, there we go.
That's not a real chance.
You know what, though?
Just a
What the
dream.
Kachuk is going on here?
That's just a dream.
Don't Kachuk yourself.
Bless you.
That's just a dream right there.
Come on.
How many times
on,
have you
let's
seen
go.
it? How many times have you seen him kind of flip it from behind the net? It bounces off the back of the goalie right in.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it looks like a great game.
Hey, Big D, chat says hello. Hello, Ruby Ivy on YouTube. What's going on, chat,
Ruby
chat,
Ivy.
chat?
Yeah, she's a good one. You know Ruby.
I can't get my
Ruby.
chat to work. I'm having technical issues here.
Okay, Dr. Peter McCullough is going to join us here coming up.
Yeah, I love him. Got some great insights.
Come on, USA. Let's put another one in the net. Let's go. Dump it in. Go get it. Let's go.
Yeah, Damon's been moonlighting as a hockey announcer.
Come on. What did...
That's hockey, man.
Yeah.
Puck moves fast.
Back and forth. Non-stop action.
Come on.
No.
Oh,
Nice
yeah.
save.
That's goalie's
That's
playing
not even a
great.
save. It's behind the net.
Oh, went behind it? It was tough to see.
No,
There's
no,
a
no, no,
camera.
Oh, this is dangerous here. Too much. Oh, you see that? That just slid by.
He tried to celebrate.
Oh, my gosh. That was ugly.
And now they're breaking out.
That was ugly.
Oh,
Canada's
chat's like,
kind-
what are we
Canada-
watching?
This is some
Yeah.
play-by-play
What do
we
you mean, Damon,
got
be
going on.
quiet.
Canada's
Drag
really coming
black.
on.
Wait, hey, is that a moose? Hold on a second.
Be quiet.
Oh,
This is a
drag
game.
black.
I'm not going to be quiet. I can tell you that.
Oh,
Sorry, you have
drag
to
black.
watch
Come on.
what normally I would be like at home, but that's you're just,
Yeah, well, it's either that or the men's bocce
that's what you're
tournament.
getting.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you can go watch something else.
Uh-oh, don't say that.
You know what? He sounds the same when he's in the toilet, too.
Don't say that.
Come on.
Damon, be quiet. Really?
I used to listen to the Islander games with the radio under my pillow,
Yeah, me too.
and I go crazy. Did you do that too?
Yeah, of course.
You know who's a big Islander
So your
fan,
mom
by the
didn't
way,
hear
is
it?
Cash Patel.
ALK.
Yeah, well, he's
ALK
from
used to
Long
play it.
Island.
Remember? Yeah.
What was that?
They used to play it.
He's from Long Island, Cash.
Yes.
Yeah.
The guy used to do the comedy, goal, Islander goal, Islander goal. I go, I think I was 14. But Cash Patel's from Long Island, and he's a New York Islander fan. I like everything about this guy.
Yep. Me too.
Everything about this guy.
Yep. He was a guest on the show one time.
Yeah.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night, February 20th. Slick's doing sports. Delgado's going to do some more news. Vinnie Mac's here. He's got some thoughts as well coming up. We're watching the USA and Canadian hockey game here.
That's on?
On
Wait.
a Thursday night, and it's a nerve-wracking experience, but it's still tied up 1-1.
Good game.
Right now, please welcome in one of our favorites to have on the show, and that is Dr. Peter McCullough from the Wellness Company. He's the Chief Scientific Officer at the Wellness Company. Dr. McCullough, welcome back. How are you?
Thank you. Good.
We're all a little jacked up here watching the USA-Canada game, hoping the USA can pull it out. But let's talk some serious stuff. Since we talked to you last, RFK Jr. obviously confirmed. And I find it interesting. You look, not one Democrat votes for him. And you know, you go back in time, Dr. McCullough, and I'm sure you remember these times. The Democrats back in the day, they used to be in charge of these committees, and they would have these scientific talks. And who would they bring in as their expert? They would bring in RFK Jr., and they'd have him sit there. And all these Democrats who were in charge of these committees 20 years ago would say, here's our expert. What a brilliant guy. He's on top. Now, all of a sudden, he's a danger to us. He's a danger to society, and not one Democrat, including his somebody who was in his wedding party in Sheldon White House, could vote for him. What do you think about that?
Healthcare should not be political, right? So everybody, Democrat or Republicans, they care about their health. They want the nation to become healthier. Mitch McConnell on the Republican side voted against RFK because he said he had polio as a child and was concerned about polio vaccines. Well, we researched this, and Mitch McConnell had polio in a time where there was no diagnostic tests. So there simply was his claim or his doctor's claim he had polio. There's no confirmation. There was no vaccine back then. And we researched it. There were no other cases of polio in his town or even in his state during that time. So when Trump said, listen, I don't know if Mitch McConnell had polio, Trump was right. No one knows if he had polio because there's no confirmation. So we have to be careful of these claims that people make, particularly about things in yesteryear where there was no ability to diagnose the problem.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I remember Trump saying that, and of course, everybody looked at him sideways, but you're right. He's absolutely right. Well, now that RFK Jr. is in, do you have like a top 3 things you'd like to see him tackle right away? Obviously, everybody on the left thinks he's going to, ruin the entire industry, which obviously is not going to be the case. But do you have some specific things where you'd like him to start where he can be most successful or have a big impact on? And what would those be?
I'd say number one, pull the COVID-19 vaccines off the market, not safe for human use. 17 now doctor organizations are calling for that. Individual state jurisdictions are calling for it. So it's not going to be a hard call to make. Can I
jump in with that? I just want to ask you as you say that. Do you think the president of the United States is on that page?
I think the president is most skilled at understanding the political winds. And he senses that there's some feelings on either side of that issue. So he's going to let that issue settle out. It's not going to be Trump who makes the move, but Kennedy could. I would say number 2, we should ban all forms of mandates, any medical mandate, a mask, a vaccine, or anything. No one should ever be forced to do things in terms of their medical care, period. That means no requirements of anything for a child to go to school or, go to work or go in the military. And so if these vaccines mandates or requirements went away, people would be, I think, much more at ease. Then we can kind of sort through the data. I'd say number 3, we should actually get rid of the Vaccine Injury Compensation Act liability protection. If companies, were responsible for their products, they would immediately pull some of these legacy products with safety problems.
Yeah. I just asked you about the president just because we happened to earlier in the show play today. The president did a thing at the White House for Black History Month, and Tiger Woods is there and these others, and he's introducing people in the room, and he introduces the CEO of Pfizer. And the place boos the guy out of the room. And I'm thinking, how does this guy get on the invite list? Why is he there? Who's not reading the room here with how the American people feel about Big Pharma right now? This is how we got RFK. So I just found that moment just quite stunning that he was there today. And the reaction President Trump saw it, and it was a little uncomfortable, but I don't know how the guy even gets on the invite list, but there he is. So
I can tell you who was reading the room. Trump was reading the room. I saw the look in his eye. Trump was like, this is interesting. Why are they booing him?
Yeah. Let's hope. Flu season. Let's talk a little bit about it because one of the guys who does the show with us here on Fridays, Kevin Downey Jr., he had it, and boy, he couldn't get on his feet for like 2 weeks. So what is with the flu this year that's different than others, and what can people do to try to get ahead of it? Because it seems like it's everywhere to maybe lessen the symptoms or not be knocked out for 2 weeks like he was.
It's a heavier flu season for sure. It's usually 75% influenza A, 25% B. This year it's 95% influenza A. Looks like the influenza vaccine is completely worthless. People took it. It's not stopping the spread or the severity at all. And I can tell you, I think COVID infections itself over the last 5 years and the vaccines have weakened our immunity. I really believe that. I'm seeing people get much sicker with influenza, other forms of viruses and bacterial infections because population immunity is down. The SARS-CoV-2 virus and the vaccines, I think, have damaged the population immune system.
Yeah. We're speaking with Dr. Peter McCullough. He is the Chief Scientific Officer at the Wellness Company. Of course, if you want one of their prescription kits, you can go to twc.health/voice. Speaking of how to get ahead of the flu, ivermectin, things like that, prophylactically is probably one way to keep things off and not be so severe. twc.health/voice. It's a good lead into my last question to you. Speaking of ivermectin, Mel Gibson was on, I don't know if you saw this, was on with Joe Rogan, and he talked about 4 of his friends who had cancer, and he talked about this combination of ivermectin and I think it's pronounced benzavol.
Right.
I'm probably butchering that, but you know what I'm saying. What were your thoughts on making like Mel Gibson making those kind of claims? What do the studies tell us about this combination? What do you know? What can you tell us about it?
There are preclinical data clearly showing anti-cancer properties of these drugs that are traditionally used for antiparasitics. Large randomized trials are needed, but they are very safe and available. And a lot of people are saying, listen, we can't wait another 2 to 20 years on this. If this is going to work, people want it. Everyone should tune into the Wellness Company Medical Roundtable. We're going to hold a roundtable on this in the next couple of weeks. Sign up as a member so you can get access to this. We're going to have one of the world's experts on to review the data on ivermectin and mebendazole as like an adjunctive anti-cancer therapy.
All right, we're speaking again with Dr. Peter McCullough. Again, you can go to twc.health/voice, twc.health/voice. Whether it's the medical emergency kit, the contagion kit, the first aid kit, the travel kit, there's a kit there for you. twc.health/voice. Dr. McCullough, always a pleasure to have you on. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, there you go, Dr. Peter McCullough. And again, you can go to twc.health/voice. Update, baby. It's update time, Slickster.
Another goal.
2-1 right there. Look at that. Come on, man. Unbelievable. What a game. Unreal.
Yeah, the Kachucks are both there, too, again.
Unbelievable.
2-1. America takes the lead.
All right, let's
Another
go.
goal.
Sanderson with a goal for U.S.
12 minutes to go in the second period. USA up 2-1. Very
Unbelievable.
Good.
Yes.
All right,
Jake Sanderson with the goal, Big D.
Okay.
Ottawa Senators.
All right, very good. Anything else quickly in sports you want to give me now since we're talking about it?
We'll talk about the President Trump earlier today. They were really inspired by his call. Seems to be paying off here. Team USA stars react to Trump's awesome call ahead of Four Nations final versus Canada. Pinching ourselves is what they said. The heated rivalry takes center stage on Thursday. Ryan Morick of Fox News. President Donald Trump will not be at the Four Nations face-off championship between Team USA and Canada on Thursday, but he gave the Americans a phone call ahead of time after posting on Truth Social where he again proclaimed Canada will someday, maybe soon, become our 51st state. Trump dialed the team while they were in the locker room of TD Garden in Boston earlier this morning. It was so awesome to get his support, JT Miller, one of 3 Americans to drop the gloves in the first USA-Canada bout set on Thursday via the Atlantic. It's a pretty big deal for him to take time out of his schedule to talk to us for 5 minutes. It's just another one of those things where we're kind of pinching ourselves this tournament. And now that they're pinching themselves, they might be pinching themselves if this continues here. Up 2-1. No, we're only about midway through the game there, Vin. A lot of hockey left to be played, so we got to keep our feet to the fire and keep it going.
A lot of momentum, right? This thing shifts back and forth.
And we just took a tripping penalty there.
Uh-oh.
Yep. So what are you going to do there?
What, are you crazy?
Yep. And that's a wrap right now for Big D.
Here's give me a little audio on my computer. We don't need video, but here's a little bit of the call the president placed today.
Oh, nice.
They're around. Yeah, they are. I'm going to walk into the locker room right now, and you can speak to the guys firsthand. Mr. President, can you hear me?
I can. You guys are really talented. I have great respect for hockey players. I'm a hockey fan. I love hockey. The talent, the skill that you have is crazy. And just go out and have a good time tonight. And I just want to wish you a lot of luck. You really are a skilled group of people. It's an honor to talk to you and get out there, and there's no pressure whatsoever.
I can tell you honestly, every person in here, players, staff, management, coaches, we are all proud Americans, and we want to represent our country the best way we can and do our best to bring in a win tonight. Thank you again on behalf of everybody.
You just go out and have a good time. You're going to win. And we love America, and we love you guys. We'll be watching tonight. Bring it home.
Thank you.
All right.
And there you go. And that's what they're off doing right now. 2-1, 10 minutes to go, second period.
Yep, shorthanded right now.
Canada's on the power play right now, so this is going to be a big couple minutes here. A minute 30 left in the power play, but we'll keep an eye on it.
That's leadership, huh, man?
Yeah.
What would Biden have been like? Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. You guys going to score?
You guys don't strike out tonight.
Yep.
Right.
Swing for the fences.
He wouldn't even have called. I mean, that's leadership.
No.
This guy's
Like
everywhere.
my song, my favorite song, the best.
And then he'd talk about how many touchdowns he would have scored if he would have played.
Oh, yeah, well, sure. Man.
Of course.
All right, Delgado, we got a couple minutes here before we hit the break. What else is going on in the news?
I wonder what the White House visit's going to look like with these guys if they pull it off and win.
Oh, that'll be something.
That'll
But
be
we
a
got
lot of
long
fun.
way to go here, so.
All right, so this breaking as well today, and this was something that people have been kind of talking about. And Byron Donalds, of course, is throwing his hat in the ring to run for governor of Florida, of the Sunshine State. And today, President Trump endorsed Representative Byron Donalds to be the next governor of the great state of Florida. He said Byron Donalds would be a truly great and powerful governor for Florida, and should he decide to run, we'll have my complete and total endorsement. Run, Byron, run. Trump posted in a post on his Truth Social platform. Earlier this week, the president shared an internal polling about Donald's leading the hypothetical competition, where he shows he has a kind of a big lead. According to this poll, the House Republican gained 31% support. Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nunes has got 4% support, and the Agricultural Commissioner Wilton Simpson has got a whopping 3% support. So Byron Donalds with a huge lead in terms of the early polling for running for state of Florida, for the governor of state of Florida.
That's awesome.
So
Big shoes to fill.
Let's hope that comes together, because he would be a great asset, not only for the president, but the president would have another great asset in terms of a governor.
Yeah.
So.
All right, we'll wrap it up for a Thursday night. When we get back live from Studio 6B right after this.
That went fast.
Check his ass into next Tuesday. Oh, we're back on.
Damon coaching again, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know if he's watching hockey or a horse race.
Please tell me you don't act like this is your son's basketball.
He was talking to the moose.
No. I don't say boo at any sporting event that I'm there as a father.
Oh, my God.
My lips never move.
I coached, man. I dealt with some of those helicopter dads and moms. Oh, my goodness. It's embarrassing. Folks, it's embarrassing. Some of these parents are just
They're
crazy.
out of their tree.
And the pressure they put on their kids. Whew. Oh, man. I had one guy. I used to coach softball when my daughter was like 12, and I used to rotate the pitchers every 2 innings. I'd change pitchers, and he wanted to win so badly. I was moving another pitcher in, and he says this out loud. You can't be serious taking her out. She's going to walk everybody in, and we're going to lose. I'm like, now she's crying. What's wrong with you? This is an actual parent. Absolutely insane. The kid was so nervous. And then she did walk the bases loaded and got the final out after that. And we won the championship.
There you have it.
There you have it.
So you gave her a ride home.
There's a happy ending. Oh, we all went to Carvel because Kentucky Fried Chickens moved to Texas.
Yeah.
Chris Allen, I like that one too. Moose turd humping.
Moose turd.
I like that one too.
That's too much. That's too much
I'll
work.
use that tonight before the end of the game. I'm sure, even when we're off the air, I'll still be yelling at the TV.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
I think that's three. That's three where that doesn't work.
No,
You can call someone. You can call someone a moose turd.
It's just how you use it.
Yeah.
You can call someone a moose turd. That kind of flows. But moose turd humping.
Right, like after we score and I say, "Take that, you," and then boom, boom, boom. It works perfect.
I think it's the name for a song, Moose Turd Humping.
Yeah, but then you got to follow it up with a fourth because you can't leave it at 3. So it's moose turd humping.
No, it's
mother.
moose humping turd. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I do the Humpty Hump.
We're sinking. We are sinking slowly.
Sinking.
Ba-ba.
Wow, what a game.
Dr. McCullough's great, huh?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
really
yeah.
is.
I just love that they have an open mind with RFK, too. Like, I get a little nervous from the people in the medical community because they're so, like,
not these
hardcore.
guys.
No, these guys are great.
Dave Syverson, I like that one,
Hey.
I like that one, too.
Hey.
Hey, what's up? Who are those two idiots? Canadian.
All right, live from Studio 6B, 13 till the hour. Let's get around to everybody here as we wrap it up on a Thursday night. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in, everybody. Of course, we started the first half an hour of the show tonight with President Trump. We covered his speech at the Republican Governors Association. And then we just had Dr. Peter McCullough join us, and he's fantastic. And boy, the flu has been quite. Look at what it did to Kevin this year. Yeah. I know people have had it for 2 weeks. They just can't shake it.
Hey, I had it in 10 days.
But he's kind of a mess.
Who?
Kevin, he doesn't take care of himself.
Why are you throwing Kevin under the bus? He's not here. He's going to be here tomorrow night. We'll see what you say to his face.
Nice.
I'll remind you. You said this tomorrow night. And
Okay, don't treat him like he's a joke.
Chris Parman on YouTube. Damon never reads my comments. Okay, there you go. All right, let's.
Who's that? Chris Carmen?
Vinny Mac is here. Vinny Mac, what else is on your mind before we wrap it up?
So many things. So many things. What a day. Hey, before I get into what's really on my mind, how about you folks in Los Angeles get rid of your mayor? Did you hear the comment she made about why she went to Ghana?
Yeah.
Well, nobody told me I shouldn't go, so I'm going to find out what happened here.
She's investigating the person who sent her to
She'll
Ghana.
get a raise, probably.
Investigating the person who sent there. What a complete moron. Wake up, people in Los Angeles. You need to change the leadership. The other thing that I thought was great that happened today is Trump cutting off all taxpayer-funded benefits for illegals. These are the things that have to happen, and they're starting to happen. But this particular piece is what got my attention today. We are talking about law and order in this country, finally, and really doing it. And now we got Kash Patel, and with the FBI, we're going to see that ramped up. We're going to see more and more of these types of things happening. And the State Department just designated all of these gangs, MS-13, the cartels in Mexico, so on and so forth, as terrorist organizations. They've been talking about it. They finally formally did it. Why is this important? Well, how do you stop this? Our drug agencies are overwhelmed. They can't stop this. They're trying to. You stop it the way we stop terrorism. We designate them as terrorists, and they are. They're poisoning our kids. They're killing our kids with the drugs they're putting in. They're killing our kids with the crimes they're committing. They're killing their own kids because they're getting them into gangs, and their life expectancy is like 24 years old. So it's about time we did this. Mexico, who's led by a far left leader, and she's gotten into it a bit with Trump, they're cooperating here a little bit. For Mexico to be a good neighbor, and we need them to be a good neighbor, these drug cartels cannot run that country. It's just like the terrorists that were in Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, and all over the Middle East, that we had to clean them out and hopefully get some peaceful living and democracies going. Well, we got our neighbor in Mexico. So by doing that, I think Trump has changed the landscape of how we can enforce these things now. And we needed it. So it's almost, I don't want to say it's a little too late, but a lot's happened. There's a lot under the bridge here that we got to fix. But this one particular thing I think is critical, and we need Mexico to be a good neighbor, and a safe neighbor. And this is one way that they can get the cartels under control. So there you have it.
All right, Vinnie Mac, very good. Martha McCallum tonight on Twitter. This is actually pretty funny. And, well, not funny, but interesting. I didn't think about it this way. She said, if President Trump hadn't won the election, how many of us would be watching this USA versus the 51st state tonight?
That is an interesting comment. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Patriotism.
Exactly. It's
That's
back,
right.
baby.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's back. Root hard, pull hard. Let's go. Red, white, and blue. Come on.
We feel it.
All right, Delgado, let's do a little more news before we wrap it up. What else is going on?
All right. I've got a great cut here from Stephen Miller. I'm going to save that for tomorrow night because I just time.
He's so good.
Just toying with the peons in the White House press briefing room.
Who should I save, Carville or Miller?
Oh, that's a tough one.
I don't know which Miller. Miller's like 11 minutes if you want the full.
No, full
scolding.
I just got the 145 of the civics lesson he hands out.
Well, it's all a civics lesson.
Which
the
is
whole
amazing.
11 minutes is a civics lesson. I mean, it's just a burial.
But this one is just brutal.
All right.
As he takes to the podium.
Well, we got 5. We got plenty of time. Let's do it all.
Let's get Stephen Miller, cut 5. Here he is, smashing lefties in the face with a civics lesson.
I love this.
It's true that many of the people in this room for 4 years failed to cover the fact that Joe Biden was mentally incompetent and was not running the country. It is also true that many people in this room who have used this talking point that Elon is not elected fail to understand how government works. So I'm glad for the opportunity for a brief civics lesson. A president is elected by the whole American people. He's the only official in the entire government that is elected by the entire nation, right? Judges are appointed, members of Congress are elected at the district or state level, just one man. And the Constitution, Article 2, has a clause known as the vesting clause, and it says the executive power shall be vested in a president, singular. The whole will of democracy is imbued into the elected president. That president then appoints staff to then impose that democratic will onto the government. The threat to democracy, indeed the existential threat to democracy, is the unelected bureaucracy of lifetime tenured civil servants who believe they answer to no one, who believe they can do whatever they want without consequence, who believe they can set their own agenda no matter what Americans vote for. So Americans vote for radical FBI reform, and FBI agents say they don't want to change. Or Americans vote for radical reform on our energy policies, but EPA bureaucrats say they don't want to change. Or Americans vote to end DEI, racist DEI policies, and lawyers at the Department of Justice say they don't want to change. What President Trump is doing is he is removing federal bureaucrats who are defying democracy by failing to implement his lawful orders, which are the will of the whole American people.
Dang.
Yeah.
He should be up there every single day.
We should start a segment called Miller Time, I think, on this show, that we have a little shot glass or something. We do a little Miller. Isn't there a beer Miller?
Yeah.
We should do Miller Time.
I've read about that.
And every day he smokes somebody, it should be a clip, and that should be Miller Time. We should do that segment for these next 4 years.
That would be awesome.
And he didn't get nuts either. He didn't raise his voice. You know, sometimes he gets a little wacky. He was great right there.
Yeah. He's fantastic.
Just amazing. So great stuff from Stephen Miller at the White House today. And here's one cut from James Carville. This is the 5-banger. He goes off on Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, come on.
Because he heard Stephen A. Smith was thinking about running for office here.
Yeah,
cut
Jasmine
10.
Crockett was going to run with him.
Cut 10. Check this out.
When it comes to politics, he don't know his from a hole in the ground. He's on that running his mouth about how he may have to run as a Democrat because there's nothing left of the Democratic Party. There's no talent. Stephen A., you me? I mean, you say you're friends with Wes Moore and you say you're friends with Josh Shapiro. Well, I'm friends with both of them. I think they're really extraordinary, talented people. I got news for you, dude. There's 6 or 7 other people in the Democratic Party that are just that talented. So before you start running your mouth off about politics, a topic of which you really don't know anything about, you ought to sit back and think about it and call some people and run it by them. But don't let your political stupidity stand in the way of your outspoken and I think often insightful views when it comes to American sports, of which I think you are an expert at. And if you know Wes and you know Josh, you should call them and run your opinions by them, because I know both of them and they're both smart guys. and they're both very ambitious guys. And the last thing that they're thinking is, if I decide that I want to take the next step in American politics, I'm going to be facing some brutal opposition. And they both know that. And they know it deep down, and they know it well. So, Stephen A., keep up your on sports. I enjoy it. I like it, but don't make a fool of yourself anymore and talking about politics.
Wow. Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane there, Stephen A.
Who's he talking to? Is someone interviewing him, or is he
he's
just
on a
sitting there
podcast.
with the iPhone on record?
Yeah, he's just pontificating. Come on, that's what we're. Come on, Ben.
Oh, man, I
Stephen A., stay in your lane.
It's a lot to drink.
As always, we salute our military, active and active police, firefighters, first responders, all emergency personnel. Thanks, guys, on the show. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Frank. Great job, as always. Most of all, thank you to live from Studio 6B audience. We'll see you tomorrow night for a Friday Night Pizza Friday to wrap up the week right here, live from Studio 6B.